Hey guys, welcome back to the Off-Grid Project. Like to show off basically a redneck air conditioner I made. And that's basically an old school air conditioner that uses blocks of ice, frozen blocks of ice pretty much, with a fan. So this is a Rubbermaid 7-day cooler. If you keep the lid closed and fill it with ice, it should stay frozen for about 7 days. You don't really have to do anything to your cooler when you make one of these. Some people remove this lid entirely. I keep it on just in case you want to use it as a cooler still. Inside, 2-liter bottles. Basically, you fill these with water, freeze them, put a whole whack of them inside, and then, which I made this is a crude fit. Well, it's pretty tight actually. Nice tight fit in there. That was off the piece of 1-inch insulation from my trailer that had a missing piece. This is where that went. And basically it has, I think this is 2-inch 90-degree street elbow ABS for plumbing. And I cut a hole to my fan size, which is right here. I'll put it in the picture here. So this fan blows, I turn it on high or even medium. Fan blows into the cooler, in within all the cold ice, frozen ice, and out the supply here. But since my fan's so big, I actually used this last year, and what happens is I found that direction's okay, but actually if I flip the fan this way and rest the fan in like this, so what happens now is it's drawing all the cold air from the inside of this cooler past all the frozen stuff and blowing it straight up to the ceiling. And since cold air falls to the lowest point, it hits the ceiling, gets rid of the heat on the ceiling, all the cold air drops down, back down to the floor, and it helps cool the room a lot better. I did my bedroom with this thing without any air conditioning, central air conditioning, and this thing, before everything melted, ran for 3 hours straight. So with this being set up like this is the draw, so all the air comes in here, gets cooled down, which is, I would call this like your return air, gets cooled down, the supply air blows it straight up and around the room, and it works pretty good this way. This direction works a lot better than the first way I showed you. Here's your drain for condensate afterwards. Now the other thing, I'm not going to test this on the camera right now, but I will maybe next summer, or once I'm in the trailer again in the spring again. Now I use these, I was using these brand name 2-liter bottles. They're only 2 liters, but I found at the dollar store, this Shasta brand, and it has a more uniform dimension to its bottles, which I like, instead of this shallow neck. And these are cheaper, and they're 2.5 liters instead of the 2-liter. So I went along with these. I got a bunch of these. I got about 6 of these. I'm gonna try these out, because you're gonna have a nice uniform ice in here compared to this shallow neck or narrow neck. And so I got a bunch of different flavors. At the same time, I tried all the flavors there now, except for the orange and the ginger ale. I still haven't gotten into those, but that's a pretty good brand cola, made in the US in California. Not too bad, but mostly I got it for the bottles itself, for the uniform fit. And once I have a bunch of those inside, all frozen up, I think that's going to work pretty well. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, you're going to need a freezer to freeze all that, all these bottles. And I say, well, yeah. And then they'll say, oh, well, that's going to use a lot of hydro. Why don't you just use a window air conditioner? Well, I plan on getting a Sundancer chest freezer. And they use about 80 watts a day in power total. And they're direct current. They don't need an inverter. They run directly off the batteries with an inline fuse to protect it. 80 watts a day, and you have all the freezing capacity you want powered by the sun. So I could have a set of these frozen in the freezer and another set in use and just keep rotating, and that's pretty much unlimited cooling and it's not even, and the fan draws like, I'm gonna say, I think I wrote it down, it's like 35 watts an hour. So compared to air conditioning, which is like the 5000 BTU air conditioner draws about what, 700 and so watts an hour. They do work nice. Window shakers, they do use a lot of power, but I could do both, because I have enough power to definitely do this, and definitely do a window 5000 BTU window shaker. But you always want to have a backup, and I like this as a backup because it's proven. I used it in my bedroom. 3 hours. For 3 hours it cooled it down perfectly without any central air conditioning on. And if you're definitely in a tiny house, I would consider this as well. Because if you don't have a lot of room for battery storage for solar, that's definitely the way to go with a Sundancer chest freezer. The chest freezers are expensive, but I say they're worth it because of the wattage they use. And I think they'll last pretty much forever. Like, freezers have a pretty good lifespan. You'll recoup your money real quick, I believe. So that gives you guys an update on the Redneck air conditioner. I will do a video, like I said, later with this all frozen and working. I'll have some temperature probes, temperature in the room, stuff like that, just to show you how well it works. That probably won't happen since winter's coming up, it won't happen till next year sometime. But that gives you an idea. Yep, so look into these things. They work really well. Let me know what you think. Thanks, bye.